Hello everyone and welcome to today's Chrissy B Show. Now today we're going to be discussing prostate issues, but not only prostate cancer and the causes and treatment, but also a more common condition known as benign prostatic hyperplasia or BPH. And it's a non-cancerous enlargement of the prostate, which is a condition that affects many men and their partners. Now, it often detrimentally affects their relationship and sex life, and all of these issues can, of course, go on to lead to other issues such as mental health ones. Now, let me tell you about my guests for today. We have real-life story guests Robert and Heather Jesse, and they'll be discussing the stress they faced as a couple when being presented with prostate problems. We also have our resident GP, Dr. Rob Hicks, and he'll be joining us to talk about various prostate conditions and treatments. And we also have Prostate Cancer UK spokesperson Lauren Wiggins to tell us about the charity she represents and how it helps people with prostate cancer and their families every single day. And later on, I'll be giving my own tips on helping a partner through an embarrassing problem. So if you'd like to get involved in this show today, you can tweet us at Chrissy B Show or leave a message on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Now, we wanted to find out how much the public knew about prostate problems. Let's see what they had to say.
Hey Chrissy, Mike here. We're in Finsbury Park to find out what people know about prostate problems. Let's find out. Do you have a prostate?
I do indeed. Yeah, I hope so anyway.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Don't men have that?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Well...
So women don't have it? Okay. No, so I'm a woman, so no, I don't.
So a prostate gland is for just men, basically. Just men have prostates.
Okay.
Do you know what it is and where you can find it?
I would say no and no. I don't know what it is. I'm one of those typical men. I take that for granted, and probably my health as well.
So what do you think a prostate does?
You can have prostate cancer.
That's what I know about that, but I'm not sure what a prostate does.
Does it help you going properly to the toilet? I don't know.
What a prostate does is it helps lubricate your ejaculate. How do you know it's not healthy then? How do you think the doctor will find out?
I think I'm running a risk. I think, like typical of men of in 2016 or like the 2000s, we're quite ignorant to it, hoping we won't be the one.
Well, if I get some pain.
Like maybe your pee might be
A different colour?
or stings, something.
It swells up, so you can't go to the toilet because of where it is as much.
Am I late? Do I need to, do you reckon, would you say? I'm older than 50, so yeah.
So thanks very much to Mike there for those street chats. And I know some parts of that were really funny, but also I think even myself, before doing some research for this program, I didn't know much about prostates either. So it was educational for me too. So, and also hopefully we've helped that gentleman to raise awareness for him to go and get himself checked as well. Now let me tell you what's coming up after the break. We have our real life story guests Robert and Heather Jesse, and they'll be talking about the emotional stress they faced as a couple when being presented with prostate problems. And we also have Dr. Rob Hicks on to give his expert opinion. So join us after this. Hi, I'm Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back to today's program, where we are speaking all about prostate problems. So as you know, on this show, we do like to talk about various different subjects, and we won't shy away from anything because the aim of the show is to help people out there with any issue they might be going through. So now I have joining me real life story guests Robert and Heather Jesse, and also Dr. Rob Hicks. Hello.
Hello.
Thanks so much for coming on. So you're going to be both sharing your story in just a moment, but I'd just like to ask first of all, hello Rob, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Just like to ask Rob first of all about BPH, what it is and what the symptoms are.
Well, essentially it's benign non-cancerous enlargement of the prostate gland. So men have a prostate gland. It wraps itself around the tube that takes urine from the bladder to the outside. And as we get older as men, it gets bigger. We don't know why, it serves no function in getting bigger, but as it does get bigger, it presses on the tube and that causes problems with passing urine. So it may be that it means a guy has to get up at night a lot, it means that he may feel he wants to go to the toilet. When he gets to the toilet, actually it takes a while for it to come, and then the stream isn't so powerful. But it's not just about the urinary symptoms. You know, it affects a man's partner, and actually it affects his quality of life, because he may find himself trapped by his prostate, where he doesn't want to travel, he doesn't want to go to the theatre, he may not even want to go on a bus ride because he's terrified that he won't be able to find a toilet in time.
So that's something that I didn't even cross my mind, but it's so true. It does affect every area of your life, doesn't it?
Yes, and it affects sexual relationships. It affects your social life. If you're still working, it will affect your work life. I mean, I remember looking after a chap who he had a scrappy little bit of paper with a list of shops and libraries and places on it, and he would only go to the places on that list because he knew there was an accessible toilet to use. So and slowly but surely he was feeling more and more confined to his home, until of course he raised the issue with me and we treated him, and then he was happy.
Okay. Now, is it a case that maybe some men find it difficult to maybe open up in the first place and look for help? Was that your case for a while?
Possibly. It started off like that, really. I suppose that I was, as Doctor said, that getting up frequently at night. At work, I would have to make sure that the toilets were free for things of that sort of nature when we went out.
Was that the first sign that you got that something
It was
might
just,
be a bit...
it was getting weaker and weaker, and I was taking longer and longer, of course, and it just got worse. So I went to my GP, and he prescribed me some tablets to take, which did ease the problem for some time. So they worked for quite a while, 2 years, 3 years.
Okay. So the medication then is one of the first...
Yeah, I think one of the misunderstandings that men have is that they think, well, if I go to the doctor and I'm diagnosed with prostate problem, one, it's going to be cancer, which is more likely not to be cancer. And the other is, oh, I'm going to have an operation. And nowadays we have effective medicines that we can give men that actually improve the symptoms. And there are newer treatments, coming online, which, Robert will talk about.
Yes. Robert, how long did it take you having the symptoms before you actually went to the doctor? Do you remember?
I would say it's probably about a year.
Oh, it's quite a long time.
Maybe not as long as that, but I tended to wait until I'd had a list of symptoms, if you like, of different things. Maybe
is that just a man thing then?
It was a bit. I went to him for some other reason, and then sort of, oh, by the way, I'm not going to the toilet quite as well as I used to, and that's when he said, well, I think we better put you on some medication.
Okay.
And we did the usual urine samples and those sort of things as well, blood samples. And that's when he just decided that medication would be the thing to go.
Okay. Now, Heather, how did you notice anything? Did Robert speak to you, or did you just notice yourself that might be an issue?
He didn't really talk about it initially because he didn't want to worry me as well, because I think possibly he was sort of thinking cancer, possibly, and all of that goes through your head. But anyway, he wasn't comfortable talking about it. But obviously I gradually noticed that there were problems in that you didn't necessarily want to go out so far and things like that.
Waking you up in the middle of the night.
Yes.
Was that disturbing you? Obviously that must have been
disturbing us at night from the point of view of having to get up to go to the toilet more frequently and taking a long time in the toilet as well. So yes, all of that gradually impacts on your life, but then you obviously went up to the GP and started getting medication. But again, he is on medication for other things as well. There's just one other tablet to have to take. The thought of having to be on medication for too long wasn't the greatest idea.
No.
So you said you were on medication for about 2 years?
Yes.
And then did the problem go away, or did you still... So what happened after that?
we were on holiday. We decided that we'd have a decent holiday, and I'd decided that, well, I sorted out my tablets and so on to go on holiday, and unfortunately for me, I got one of them wrong, which happened to be the one for the prostate. And when we were in Canada, and it wasn't until about 3 or 4 days into the holiday that I realised that I was taking the wrong tablet.
Oh no.
And also, which made me realise, is that I hadn't been able to go to the toilet
Oh gosh.
in this time.
Yeah.
So it was my fault. I mean, I felt really silly.
Well, it's a mistake.
And,
It's like,
we were at Niagara Falls, of all places, watching all the water going through, and we're at the restaurant, and I'm saying, well, I've got to go to the toilet. I did really feel like I needed to go, and I just couldn't go.
oh gosh.
I came out of the toilet, Heather said to me, "You've been in there a long time." I said, yeah, okay, I know I have, sorry about that. We were with a group of 4 or 5 other people at the time, and of course when we got back to our hotel, I said to Heather what had happened, and admitted that I'd taken the wrong tablets, and by this time obviously it was tablets. Trying to find them in Canada was
Did it
not
ruin
easy.
your holiday?
Well, yes.
It absolutely ruined our
It
holiday.
did.
And it was, I think, we then had to go and find an out-of-hours clinic, which you obviously have to pay for. And he said, well, you're
Nothing
going to
I
have to
can
go
do.
to the hospital, to A&E, really, because I think you're probably going to have a catheter fitted.
Yes, and of course it ruined the whole
So we then went and did all that, which was
day,
awful.
Oh.
And I think Bob was terribly upset because he felt as if he'd ruined the holiday, which wasn't the case really.
Yeah.
Well,
Was,
it was the case that the holiday had been
We're not
ruined.
meaning to.
No,
We're not meaning to, yeah.
We were supposed to be flying down to America from there for the second week, but they fitted Bob with a catheter, which obviously was not very comfortable.
No,
for him.
and I said,
And
no, I
being
can't.
so far away from home, Bob is a very laid-back sort of guy usually, but he got so upset, which really upset me as well, obviously. So we just thought the only thing to do is
came
to
back.
come
Come
home,
home,
which is what we
yes.
did,
Yeah.
and went to our local Frimley hospital the next day.
Yes.
No,
No, the same day. We got in the morning.
yes,
didn't
that's
we?
true.
And the same day I went to...
To the A&E again, because you
A&E,
still
no.
weren't able to go, and they fitted another catheter in.
Yes,
Now,
and
you
did
didn't-
more
you-
checks.
After the taking the medication for a couple of years, and there was something else that you tried that really, really worked for you. Can you tell us about that?
Sorry?
When you went back to the hospital, wasn't it?
Oh, yes. Well, it wasn't when we went back to the hospital. Well, it happened again about 2 weeks after we got back from holiday. It happened again. I had to have the catheter.
Yeah.
And by this time, my GP had said to me, well, we better try and go a bit further with this, or see what's going on. And I saw the specialist, and at that time, he'd said that NICE had agreed to a new procedure, which was one of 3 options I had. And he said, this procedure is a new one, it's called Urolift. And I went through it, and I thought, that really sounds just the job for me. If I'm suitable for that, then that's the way I go. He said, take a couple of days to think about it and come back and we'll see what happens.
I suppose with everything you'd been through already, you were willing to try.
Well,
try
yes. I mean,
something,
out of the 3 options, I think that was my favourite. I said, more or less, as soon as I heard it, I thought, well, this is, sounds so easy.
And did it work for you?
It worked wonderfully for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a case of having the scan and camera and those sort of things prior to having the operation, or if you can call it an operation. I went in at 1 o'clock at midday, and I was back home at 6.
Wow.
And Heather picked me up at 5:30, 6 o'clock.
And you noticed a big difference?
Straight away.
It was amazing.
Straight away.
And it was very non-invasive,
said,
so
They said to me, I woke up, after come out, I woke up and I said to the nurse that I needed a bottle to go to the toilet. And she said, "Oh, that's good."
Like,
she said, as soon as you've gone,
celebrate.
you can go home. And I said, "Oh, great."
So, let's get our doctor here to. Can you describe how this procedure works?
Yeah, it's an implant essentially, which pulls the prostate away from the tube to relieve the pressure. It's as simple as that. And that
Sounds very simple.
It is very straightforward. It's a revolutionary development because it doesn't involve major surgery. As you've heard from Bob, you go in, have it as a day case, and then most men go home the same day, and problems resolved.
How popular is it becoming now?
Well, I think it's a relatively new thing that's become available, certainly in the UK, and I think a lot of men who may have been in the past faced with surgery will say, well, actually, I'll go for this option and see if it can help me. So,
do you have to meet a certain criteria though to be able to have it done, or?
That'll be down to the specialist concerned and the individual patient. But I think what's very important is that it offers another option for men who've got this very common problem. And what I would hope is that it encourages men to come and seek the advice of their doctor when they've got these symptoms, because that's the major hurdle. Not only do men think it's just part of me getting older and I can't do anything about it, but also it's a very intimate area to discuss with anybody. It's passing urine. It's the prostate, which is conveniently located or inconveniently located where it is. And then of course there's a lot of publicity about prostate cancer, so most men are terrified that that's what they're going to be diagnosed with. When here is a condition which we can successfully treat, sometimes with just lifestyle measures, sometimes with medications, sometimes with the Urolift system, sometimes with other surgery. So there are the options available to get your life back, which is what happened.
How is it for you now after having this done, both of you?
It's going back sort of 5 years, so really, from that point of view, back to sort of normal, as I would put it.
That's lovely.
It's worked well. I'm very pleased with it.
Oh, that's excellent. And have you been back on holiday?
We have.
Brilliant. Did you make up for the lost time last time?
Yes, we've been away earlier this year, and we're actually going back to try and finish off the holiday we should have done 2 years ago. So yes, it's worked really, really well.
No, I'm very pleased.
Oh, that's excellent. I'm so happy for you both. That's great. And do you know what? Thank you so much for coming on and speaking about this. I know it's something very personal, very private, but I know you've done it, for the good of those that are watching that may be going through something and they are suffering in silence because they feel embarrassed to talk about it to their doctor or even to their partner maybe. So thank you so much for doing that.
We do discuss these things at the golf club now. So.
Yeah. Everybody knows about it now. It's fine.
They do. They take the mickey out of me a bit as well.
Thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you.
You're both amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Rob, we're going to keep you on because after the break we're also going to be joined by Prostate Cancer UK spokesperson Lauren Wiggins, and we're going to be talking more about the cancer side of things, causes and prevention and also treatments. So don't go away. Hi, I'm Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back to today's programme where we are covering prostate problems because this is an issue sometimes that many people feel embarrassed to talk about. So we want to cover it here on this show to show you guys at home that there's nothing to be embarrassed about and that you should get help as soon as possible. So before the break, we were speaking to Robert and Heather Jesse, and they shared their story about having BPH, well, Robert having BPH and how it affected their relationship and their lives, but also how they turned things around. And now we have joining us on the sofa Lauren Wiggins, who's the Prostate Cancer UK spokesperson. Hello, Lauren.
Hi.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And we also have Rob with us still here because you're going to be giving your expert input.
I'll try my best,
usual.
Chris, as always. I'll try my best.
So, Lauren, first of all, tell us about the charity and what you do.
Well, Prostate Cancer Charity is the largest men's health charity in the UK, and we focus predominantly on prostate cancer. So we aim to improve the science of prostate cancer through research and really support men and their families who are affected by prostate cancer.
Now, you've got a background in nursing as well, haven't you? Can you tell us about your experience in that and what you've seen?
Yeah, so before I joined the charity, I was nursing. and nursing in urology clinics. So I saw a lot of men who were coming through with prostate cancer.
Okay.
And I think, as with any cancer, it's difficult when you get a diagnosis. It's really, first of all, the physical side. What's this going to do to me and my body? But it really does have a huge impact on one's mental health and how you feel about talking to your family and friends about what's going on. So that was really what brought me to work in the charity, to try and reach more men and let them know that there is support for them.
Would you say that men are being more forward in getting help now, or is there still this kind of like reluctance to get that help that they need?
We think it's changing, but there really is still quite a reluctance. And one of our big aims is to let men know that they should be talking about these things. A lot of men don't know that they have a prostate gland, let alone that it can cause cancer and it can be really dangerous to them.
That's quite shocking, isn't it, that?
It is, and I think we hear that a lot. We have a team of nurses at the charity who take calls and emails from men who have concerns or questions, and very often, excuse me, very often they say, I don't even know that I had a prostate, let alone that it can cause problems.
Yeah. And then what's the next stage once they contact your charity? How is it that you help them directly with things?
Well, we've got a team of specialist nurses who are able to answer any question about the prostate. So it's not only prostate cancer, they do take calls about BPH and things as well.
So even if it's just a concern that they have?
So any concern, and we would encourage people to, no question is too small or silly. So it's better to speak to someone, speak to your GP or call one of our nurses and go through what's happening and get some good information so that you can make a good decision about what to do.
Okay, and what do you see? How is the charity doing in general, and what kind of impact is it making on men's lives?
We're doing really well in terms of awareness. So we've had, since 2014, we had over 250,000 people who've signed up for our Men United movement.
Excellent.
To really sort of sign up to help us beat prostate cancer.
Brilliant.
And we've just launched a strategy which aims excuse me, which its aim is in the next 10 years to really tame prostate cancer so that the next generation of men don't need to fear it, but that it's something that can be treated and they can have a good quality of life as well.
Wow, great, Robert, right? Robert?
Can't wait. Can't wait. I think that the charity is an excellent charity, and I often see, I've seen in the past guys who've had conversations on the phone before then coming to consult. It's a way of being able to almost anonymously, because you're not seeing the person, ask the questions and then get the advice to say, almost the permission really to go and, inverted commas, trouble the doctor with my trouble. And I think, part of the awareness is not just about the condition itself, but the awareness is about it's okay to ask the questions. And this isn't something that is inevitable, that, the prostate gland can cause problems. I think the other thing that we must highlight is that for the vast majority of men that have a problem with their prostate, it isn't cancer. It's what we were talking about earlier, BPH, which can be successfully treated. That said, if it should be cancer, then the sooner it's diagnosed, the sooner you can try and treat it. And we are a long way away from fully understanding this cancer. It's a troublesome one, not just from the man's point of view, but also from the diagnosis point of view and knowing exactly what treatment is appropriate for the men. But through the help and support of charities like your own that funds research, each year we're getting a little bit closer to having a greater understanding. And the end play game is we help men that way.
Rob, can you tell us more about some of the symptoms of, because obviously we spoke about BPH, which is more common, but obviously this is a big issue as well.
It's very similar symptoms. So as the prostate grows and it presses on that tube, then it's going to affect urine flow, and that might mean getting up at night a lot. It might mean not being able to go immediately. The stream is weak. We often hear guys say, well, I've zipped up, I've washed my hands, 5 minutes later I need to go again. And you can imagine the impact that has on their social life, but also on their relationships. People get quite irritated because they're being held up, and they feel embarrassed actually that it's a urinary problem that's causing the situation.
Yeah.
When the cancer is spreading or has spread, then men may get lower back pain, they may get pain in the pelvis, they may feel very fatigued, they may lose weight for no explained reason.
Okay.
So these are, you know, in a way the symptoms are specific to the prostate, but they're relatively vague as far as what problem within the prostate the symptoms are due to. The bottom line is, if you've got symptoms at all, and especially if they're affecting your quality of life, please just go and ask and get yourself checked out.
Is there a certain age where you should just get checked anyway, would you say?
Yes, one of the things that with prostate cancer is very often, and we hear this time and time again, is that men are diagnosed when they've had no symptoms.
Right.
So the guidance is that any man over the age of 50 should really go and have a conversation with his GP, because 1 in 8 men will get prostate cancer in their lifetime. And if you're a black man in the UK, that risk is 1 in 4. So from the age of about 45, we would suggest that you go and speak to your GP or call one of the nurses and talk through your risks. And
that's good to know, like our gentleman on the street chats
Absolutely.
earlier.
Yes.
See, there was a reason that we stopped him, wasn't there?
Absolutely. And it's conversations like those that actually make men aware of their risk, and as you rightly say, not everyone's going to have prostate cancer.
No, but it's good
it's knowing what your risk is, going and having that conversation and being able to make an informed decision about whether to be tested or not.
Definitely. Now obviously prevention, we have to talk about prevention as well, because there are certain things that men can do to prevent some cancers. What would you think?
With some cancers, yes, but with prostate cancer, there are no specific risk factors that are associated or preventative steps that guys can take. No clear ones. There's a suggestion that if a man is overweight, he's at greater risk of the more aggressive type, the more dangerous type of prostate cancer. So obviously keeping to a healthy weight is a good idea. There's a suggestion that physical activity may reduce the risk. And there's a suggestion that actually eating foods that have got selenium and lycopene in them may well reduce the risk. But none of these are as clear as the link between smoking and lung cancer, for example.
Well, it won't do any harm, would it?
So these are healthy things that men can do, and they might give them a chance. The odds say may well help, but we can't categorically say will definitely help.
And I think really what men need to know is that if their father or brother has had prostate cancer, for instance, they're at a higher risk, 2.5 times more likely to get prostate cancer. And as I say, sort of being a black man, and from the age of 50, your risk goes up. And those are the things that men need to know so that they can have a conversation and make a decision around that.
Brilliant.
That's the best prevention that they can do, really.
Okay. Can you just tell us how can people help your charity if they would like to?
Well, they can visit the website, they can join up and sign Men United and really help us beat this by either doing events for us, raising awareness. Raising awareness is hugely important to us, and if I could implore everyone who's watching this program to actually just speak to your brothers, your fathers, and let them know, do you have a prostate? Are you over the age of 50? Go and speak to your GP. But signing up to Men United is a way of showing support, and you can get involved funding or doing events and raising awareness.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing that, and all the details will be up on our website, and actually we have one of your videos to show our viewers before the break, so thank you so much for coming on to talk to us. Let's take a look at this video and then we'll go to our break.
I went for a routine inspection, medical inspection, for a gastric problem. I didn't have any inclination I had any problems with prostate or anything like that, because I wasn't suffering with any symptoms. I was just walking around with this sort of time bomb inside.
My husband Brian was diagnosed with advanced prostate cancer at the age of 48. I'd like to think that both of us were quite intelligent people, and I always smile when I say that, but I'd never heard of prostate cancer, nor Brian.
My work has led to multiple new treatments becoming standard of care for this disease. Abiraterone being the one that has been very well known, but also cabazitaxel. But overall, my main focus is developing better, more precise care for each man with these diseases. Prostate cancer is not one disease, it's many diseases. That means not only being careful of treating each man differently, depending on what cancer they have, but ensuring that if a drug is not working, that drug is stopped promptly. Our work is also leading to less invasive ways to diagnose and treat the disease. So I am very confident that in this decade we will improve outcome from this illness further. I have no doubt about that at all. I can see that happening today. I think we're going to get better at diagnosing what kind of prostate cancer we're dealing with. And our breast cancer colleagues have been doing this for a decade or more. They know there are different subsets of breast cancer. So our goal now is to really advance that understanding of the different types of prostate cancer into changing treatment to be more precise for each man. So yes, I am extremely confident that in this decade we're going to make progress. The challenge for us is to accelerate that to really, make a difference for men suffering from these diseases.
So with Grandad dying of prostate cancer in 83, 84, and Dad being affected by it, it's only when I started to work at the charity that I'd started to read up and realise the kind of hereditary issues and risks. So obviously that puts myself into the bracket, and my brother Pete puts him into the bracket as well. And just under 3 years ago, my son Joel was born. Luckily, Dad's sort of come through it, and we count our blessings that we could get the answers, and that he had enough time to really make a decision. I'm proud of what I do for a living. I'm lucky to be in such a great place where I'm hopefully making a bit of a difference, even if it's a really minute one. I'm lucky to have the opportunity to talk to my dad wherever I want to. If we really have, 10 years to tame prostate cancer, let's do it. We don't have to be 10, it could be 8, it could be 6, 5. He's my hero, I love him. And this is what it's all about, Dad's one of all the men that suffer. He's come through it. Sadly lost my granddad, but hopefully by doing this I can make a little bit of a difference, and everybody else that's running today should be so proud, because it's just an amazing charity, an amazing cause, and hopefully, we can do this, we can win this.
Hi, I'm Chrissy B, and my show is all about improving your mental health and being happy. Join me every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 p.m. on my channel Sky 203. Visit chrissybshow.tv for more information and subscribe to our YouTube channel Chrissy B Show. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Chrissy B Show, and on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Welcome back to today's program, where we have been speaking all about prostate problems. So this show has been in order to raise awareness of this very important topic. So if you've missed any of today's program, please do head over to our YouTube channel in a few days' time, and you can find the show there. And obviously don't forget to subscribe, Chrissy B Show. Now, before I go into my tips on how to help if your partner is going through an embarrassing problem, let's take a look at this fitness tip with Ben Cooper. Now, he's done this tip specifically for men, and obviously we do know that exercise does benefit you, so that's why we've introduced that today. Let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Ben, and welcome to Move 360 Studios. I'm here for the Chrissy B Show, and today we're going to be talking about male health, and particularly male health in relation to, obviously, exercise. I see patterns like this a lot with my clients, my male clients, in that they're tight in the hips and they're weak in the abdominals. So today I'm going to show you a few stretches to really open up the hips and get those loosened out, and also some exercises that are going to strengthen the abdominals, and I'll talk a little bit about the importance of having a strong abdominal wall in terms of organ health and general physique. So our first stretch is going to be one called 90-90 stretch. So this is called the 90-90 stretch for an obvious reason, in that it's got 90-degree angle on the back leg, 90-degree angle on the front leg. And you're going to come up into the stretch, make sure you're nice and upright, and almost stick the bum out of the back. The next one is called, I call it a frog stretch, but it's just an adductor stretch. The adductors are in the inner thigh, so it's the opposite side to the muscle we were stretching. So you go nice and wide, feet out like a duck, and then sit back into the stretch to stretch the adductors. And this is it can be quite an uncomfortable stretch, but just ease into it so you can push forward and back, and then just when you find the stretch is there, just hold it and open up the hips. Again, you want to do this for about a minute at least, and you can move so you don't have to be static. Okay, so onto the abdominal exercises. This is a Swiss ball. You can go and use them in the gym. So use them in the gym. They're a great tool to create a neural response, to get feedback from the body, and to also stimulate stability in the body, which is what we're looking for when we're trying to train abdominals. Today I'm going to use it on the wall, and we're going to do a ball squat. So this is great for the pelvic floor. Squats are amazing exercise for pelvic floor, and also great for the abdominal wall. So in terms of men's health, this is very important to keep the organs in place. The abdominals are there to keep the organs in place. They're also there to look good, but we want to keep everything where it should be as well. So that's really important. So as you pop the ball about mid-back, and then as you go down, you're going to raise your arms up above your head. So get as low as you can. You don't have to go down as low as me. And just get your breathing rhythm in and really push the floor away as you come up. So the lower you go, the more you'll get on the lower abdominals, the more you'll get on the pelvic floor. So if you can get that low, just be aware of the knees if you've got any knee issues at all. Okay, so on to the next exercise. This is called a supine hip extension, feet on ball. So we're gonna have a mat down. The ball's gonna be at your feet this end, and you're gonna put the feet on top of the ball. The arms will go out to the side, and then lift up, and raise the hips up, squeezing the glutes, up and down from the mat. Looks nice and easy with the arms at the side. If you want to make it harder, pop the arms across the chest, and then raise up. So now we're putting a much more stability through the body, so your only point of contact is your head or your feet. Okay, so that's a lot easier with the arms out to the side. Across the chest is a lot harder, and that's a progression. So with both of these exercises, you want to aim to begin with higher reps to create stamina. So 15 to 20 reps on each exercise. Do that for about 2 or 3 sets, and then start to increase the sets. So go up to 4 or 5 sets, drop the reps, but increase the difficulty. So take the hands across the chest, add weight into the squats. And that's going to help to tone the abdominals, and along with the stretches, it's going to loosen up the hips and just get feeling a lot better and stronger and less likely to get injured as well.
Thanks very much to Ben there. So now I'm going to be going through my tips on what to do if there is a problem, an embarrassing problem in a relationship. So the first point is to make sure that you are open. So for the one going through the issue, male or female, you do need to be open about anything that you're going through, because it's your partner, it's someone that you're supposed to trust, so why hide? And actually, by speaking about your problems, it does bring you closer together, because it shows your partner that you can tell them anything. So if you just avoid, for example, being intimate with them, they're going to start having all sorts of things going through their mind. Maybe they think that you've gone off them, or that you're having an affair, or you don't find them attractive, and you're going to end up creating more problems on top of the health issue that you might already have, and that also brings more stress. So do give your partner credit. You know, if it was the other way around, wouldn't you want to know what was going on? Wouldn't you want your partner to be open with you? Of course you would. So make sure that you do the same. My second point is to be patient and understanding. Now, this one is for the partner who doesn't have maybe the health issue or the embarrassing issue. So things may get frustrating for you, because naturally you want to be intimate with your partner, but you need to be patient through any treatment that your partner might be having. So don't put unnecessary pressure. Sometimes your partner could be, in serious pain, and being intimate is the very last thing on their mind. So still be affectionate with them, still be loving, not expecting sex if they can't have sex at the time. So, but be patient with them, because they feel the pressure already, that they know, for example, that you want to be with them, but having the added pressure of you getting frustrated with them is not going to help the issue. So make sure you're still affectionate, even though maybe you're not able to sleep with your partner at the moment. And my third point is, learn about the condition. So if you do your own research and you read up on what your partner is going through, that will help you in your understanding, and maybe certain moods that they might be going through, and certain pain that they might have. So that can make you more sensitive, more understanding to what they're going through, and be a better support to your partner. And my fourth point is, consider couples counselling. So the last thing you want is for your relationship to break down. So do consider help. Now, your doctor may be able to give suggestions regarding the intimacy side of things, but there is other help that you can also get. And who knows, later on, you can even help other couples with your story, just like our couple that came on today did. So as we always talk about on this program, no problem is unsolvable. There's always something that you can do towards it to help. And you can get past certain issues, but the first thing you have to do is obviously to ask for that help. Well, we have reached the end of today's program, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. And if you have a story that you would like to share, as our couple did today, which, my hat off to them, it was really brave of them to come and talk about something so intimate and personal, but they did that in order to help others and to raise awareness. So you could be doing the same. If you'd like to share your story, you can visit our website, chrissybshow.tv. You can tweet us at Chrissy B Show, or leave a comment on our Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. And if there's a topic that you would like to see covered, maybe it's an issue that you're going through, or maybe it's a loved one that's going through something and you'd like to have more information and a show dedicated to that particular topic, you can also get in touch with us. Until next time, bye-bye for now. Known as benign prostatic hypertrophy. Is that right? Did I say it wrong? That's even worse. Hyperplasia. Can you write that down, Mike? I think that might be easier for me to remember. Hyperplasia. Hyperplasia. Thank you, everybody. Hyperplasia. Don't worry about getting the spelling right, just the pronunciation, please. It's fine, because it's not going to show up on screen.
Just got to get rid of all that nervous energy. We're here for the Chrissy B Show. Something fell off the thing.